Hey guys, it's the Any Thoughts podcast. It's me, Benny.
Me, Bradley.
Me Amog, what's up?
Me, Ivy. What's up?
Before we begin, we have some housekeeping. Just wanted to say that we really appreciate the support in the recent weeks. We once again encourage you to like and subscribe, and also to motivate the subscriber count. We're going to be doing something a little different. If we can get 100 subscribers by the end of May, we're going to do a watch along for a shitty movie. So the two movies are, I think, Velocipastor. So yeah,
Velocipastor.
it's like a giant T-Rex that I guess is apparently a pastor. I have not seen the movies, so we'll find out. And then the second movie is Dracula 3000, which apparently is like a space vampire movie. So you could
With
join us to
Coolio.
get the. There you go, with Coolio. So you could join us with that, and we're gonna try to have a poll on the bottom for which one you guys want us to see on the YouTube video, if we can figure that out. But I'll include in the links of the description the trailers for the two movies, and then we can go from there. But with that said, let's start with slaps and chaps. Does anybody want to begin?
I can begin.
Okay.
Always happy to begin. So, what's been slapping is today I had the most amazing sliders. Like, oh my god, guys. It's like they literally melted in my mouth the moment I ate them. 4 beautiful sliders from this place called Great Steaks. I don't know whether it's there in the US, but it's a big thing in Kuwait here. They also have like chili Philly cheesesteaks. Sorry, Philly cheesesteak.
Fast food restaurant, right?
I think it's fast food. Yeah,
They have
so
it in Cal. They did years ago.
they do. Oh,
Yeah, they did.
great steaks. So yeah, so that's what's been slapping today and pretty much the entire week, where it's just like, how to prevent yourself from dick beating. So,
AKA quarantine.
aka quarantine, as they politely put it.
And then make sure you just wash your hands.
You know, all you gotta do is just set up a VPN and pretend you're in Italy, and then apparently you have access to a lot of premium content. You know,
Exactly.
And guess what? You don't have to pay for anything.
Yeah,
you know,
pretty
sis
much.
doesn't love me
Callback.
anymore.
Call back.
Shout out to last
So,
episode.
because sis doesn't love me anymore.
Yeah,
But,
She only loves you because of the money, bro.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Can't blame it. Can't blame it, man. These Kuwaiti people have me earning stacks. Really, I can't help it now at this point. So if any interested parties, please call out. Please call me. So yeah, and what's been clapping my cheeks is pretty much quarantine. It's really boring, and I can't really visit the city because that's where the majority of the cases of corona are. So it's just the walls are finally started to close in, and I think I think I'm slowly losing my mind. But hey, there are a lot of great shows on Netflix now, so maybe Amog just might survive this one. All right, handing over the baton to some of you lovely gentlemen.
I'll take it. Again, what slaps for me? I went to Paisanos today.
Hey, that
Yeah.
bread is fire.
I know I did, and I had a calzone for the first time. Surprise, surprise! It was
What?
delicious. Yeah,
What?
no,
You had a calzone for the first time in your life, or like?
yeah, for the first time in my life. I don't really venture out. As you guys may know, you may hear more about this later. My weird picky food options, but yeah, the calzone was amazing.
Oh,
It was like the quadruple pepperoni calzone with like 4 different types of pepperoni pizza or pepperoni slices, and and mozzarella, stacked Thai, and ricotta cheese. Man, it was just delicious. And then what's been
Okay.
chapping my yeah, no, it was amazing. I devoured that ish. And then what's been chapping my ass? Again, with being quarantined because of this thing outside, um, classes have been a little bit more, not tougher, but just my apathy has gone up a lot since I'm home, I'm relaxing, I get to sleep in and not have to worry about getting dressed and biking to campus, and so trying to stay motivated is kind of the biggest thing that's been chopping me because like I got an exam next week for a very tough class, and so that's gonna be a fun time just studying for that. not having the professor to ask questions as easy as it was. So yeah, pass off somebody else, whoever wants it.
Just to cut in, which class is this? Which class
Uh,
is this?
this is retaining wall, Earth systems.
Oof.
Yeah.
Good luck, man. Good luck.
It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun.
Geotech, always fun.
Very
Who's
fun.
next?
Hey, go ahead, Ivy.
Go on.
It's all good. Nah, they're having a bonding moment. It's all good.
Yeah, fucking civil engineers
was...
just make targets.
Hey, you still need those runways, right?
I mean, I'll make the gun. You can make my target. You know.
Hey man, I'm pretty sure that gun needs some runway.
Yeah, maybe.
Fair enough. Yeah, so I would say what's been slapping. It's been going pretty good. Man, it's actually been. Oh yeah, so I've had more time to like chill, and like be home a lot more, which is nice. Not have to go into work as much, and emphasis on as much because that's kind of the chap. Because I do still have to go into work, and I know some of you all have to go into work too, and it kind of sucks because I work at a hospital. So it's kind of scary a little bit. So you got to be very careful. And we do, there are precautions, but we'll see, man, with this virus. We'll see what happens. We'll see how long it lasts. Social distance, wash your hands is important. Don't be going to the beach. Don't be doing craziness. Do what you gotta do.
Here's the thing. Like one of my, sorry to cut in, guys, but one of my coworkers was like, "Oh my God, Amog, you should totally practice social distancing. Corona everywhere." And I just looked at him and like deadpan expression. I just told him, "I've been practicing social distancing since I was 15." And like he just stopped. He just like stopped midway. He just looked at me. He opened his mouth to say something, and he decided against it because he knew he was going to get shut down. So he just turned around and walked away. I was like, yeah, keep walking, bro. Keep walking.
Yeah, I mean, for me. Oh wait, you didn't finish, Iverson.
No, I mean, I'm just saying I'm an extrovert, but then I also need to recharge. That's all.
Yeah, you gotta recharge.
But yeah, go on, Benny. Sorry.
No, we didn't finish, Ivy. What's your chap?
Yeah, so that was my chap. I have to go into work.
Oh, okay.
During the virus, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I've been just spending my quarantine time playing video games more obscenely than ever before. So I finally finished BioShock Infinite. That was a fun time. I remember when I first beat it, and I was wowed by the ending. This time, like, since I knew what to expect, it didn't really surprise me. But it was a fun time nonetheless. And then, like, the theory of, like, what really happens at the end of that game is pretty cool because it's, like, about different universes and shit. But in terms of what's happened, this quarantine, honestly, I didn't expect myself to be this bored. But, like, somehow I am. Like, it's like when people tell you, like, oh, like, you don't miss the fact that you can freely go outside, but then, like, when you get it taken away from you, that's when you miss it.
Yeah,
it's like,
that's true.
And that's the thing. Like, it's like, I wasn't bothered. It's like, oh, quarantine, no problem. I stay in my house anyways. Like, what the fuck? And then it's like, and then it's just like, and then like you go,
and
somebody
takes away that freedom to leave. And like, wait, I can't leave my house anymore.
Yeah, it's like that's when you want to go out. So that's essentially what's happened for me. But that's really it. Nothing too exciting this week in my department. But with that said, moving on to the next topic of the show, our topic's going to be double standards. Is it okay to say something and then somebody else could say the completely same thing, but because they're somebody different than you, it's viewed differently? Like, is it okay to have a double standard? And should you even care? So does anybody want to start with that?
Bradley's the volunteer, sacrificial lamb, so to speak.
I guess I got like two examples of double standards I've just seen across my time. Really, one double standard again. This is all I've just seen online. It could all be jokes, people. But I have seen, I've met some of my friends have said, "Hey, Brad, I only go after guys who are of a certain height. That height usually being 6 foot and above. And again, there's nothing wrong with that. Hey, people have their own preferences. And if a lady wants to say, "Hey, Brad, I like a guy who is 6 foot and above," then who am I to tell them, "Well, you're wrong for having that opinion or having that standard." Now, on the other side, I've seen plenty of guys say, "Well, I like a girl with a certain size," whether that size being skinny, whether that size being curvy, or that size being a little more than curvy. But and a girl saying, "Well, that's bad. You shouldn't say that you like a certain size girl. You should like all types of ladies." But again, there's double standard right there. Well, if he's supposed to like all types of ladies, why can't you like all types of guys? And I get paid. You just have to understand. I know for my short kings out there, you may want that nice 6'1" and above girl, but if your game's tight enough, you can bag that. There's plenty of dudes I've seen. Heck, my ex, she was taller than me, and I was cool with that. There's plenty of dudes who get with taller girls, and there's plenty of tall guys who get with tall girls. There's plenty of short girls who get with short guys. It all depends on, hey, you know what? Your man always able to get that standard, but be willing to look in all types of directions. Don't just. I understand. Hey, you like a certain type of thing, you like a certain type of guy, and that's totally fine. But that shouldn't limit you. And same with girls, same with guys and girls. I understand you like a certain type of guy or girl, but having those standards shouldn't limit you to the type of people you should attempt to talk to or attempt to get to know. And another thing I want to talk about when it comes to double standards is the N word and the F word.
Which F word?
The word that's used for gays.
Okay.
That one.
Oh, okay. I thought it was the other one.
No.
I thought we were talking about. I thought we were talking about the one with copulation, the one which
it doesn't round with duck. No, it's the one that's used to as the derogatory slang for gay people. Now,
or a cigarette in Britain. Yeah.
In Britain, but
or a bundle of sticks.
Yeah, actually, that's right.
That is true. But just to be honest, listen, nobody. If you ask me, nobody should use those words. I understand it in certain cultures; it's totally fine. And again, that's where the double standard comes in at. If a gay person, like for example, like if a black person can use the N word, is it okay for a white person or a Hispanic person or somebody who isn't of African American descent to use that word? Because that word is mostly derived from the history in America of how black people were treated, and that word was to demean and to belittle black people. Same thing with the F word. Now, unlike the N word, the F word, that word is more international. Every culture has their own derogatory
version of it.
Yeah, version of it. But with the N word, that's pretty much an American original.
Funny
we got
enough,
a 4-star, 50-star flag freedom right there.
But if you now that you mention it, it's this funny thing. I was learning Spanish once, a long time back, and like one of my professors in Yaki, he said blanco or white, and then he says negro, and I was like, whoa.
I have a funny story for that.
And and this is in India, so the whole room, just the entire temperature in the room just dropped, and everybody's it was just cold, and I was like, Iñaki, and I brought this up because, well, asshole in the midst, and I was like, Iñaki, when you say, yeah. I was like, when you say negro, do you mean the color or the race? Just need to be sure. He's like, color. He was from Pamplona, actually. So the racing with the bulls place, running with the bulls.
Yeah. Oh,
so
Barcelona.
Pamplona, not Barcelona.
Mm.
So
I have a funny story about this too. Like in high school, I was taking Spanish 1, I think, and there was this like one black girl, and she was kind of notorious for like, kind of being mad or angry and offended by everything. And we get to the colors, and she's like, "Why does it say Negro?" And like she was so angry. She was so angry because like she like looked at the teacher. She's like, "What do they mean by Negro?" And like I was like, "Well, first off, it's Negro." And like keep in mind the teacher who like was explaining it was this nice Mexican lady. She was like 70 years old, and like she just didn't know how to respond. She's like, "It's just the color." And like she just like the girl got so angry she stormed out and left the class.
What?
So I mean, yeah, that was a weird event.
Yeah.
I actually remember back in high school. I used to run track in high school, and we had a meet. It was at Disney World, and it was like it was a meet where not everyone did
You
their
making mouse
best,
to the N
right?
word or something?
Oh no, check this out. So it was at the ESPN Wide World of Sports, and I remember vividly we were on the bus, and overall, not everyone had a great meet. And we had a coach. He was a cool dude, black guy, big black guy, really cool, very out there, very crazy kind of, but a cool guy. And everybody on the bus was like playing around and stuff, right? Messing around, like wasn't taking the losses seriously. So we get off the bus and we're outside CC's Pizza, right? And our coach is like, all right, girls team, go inside CC's. I'm going to talk to the boys. He pulls all the boys over of the bus, right? And he's like, you know what? Y'all some sorry ends. Y'all need to get your act together. He
He
went
laid into
off
you
on
guys.
He went off.
he
He
went
went
off
off.
on us. And the thing was, we had like a group. It was like a mixed group, so we had like black, Hispanic, like a few white people. But he was calling us all of that. He just had a moment. He didn't care. He's like you would like he was pointing out people and calling them that, and our coach had to like discipline him, whatever. But he was a great coach. But I don't know, just from thinking about that, going back to double standards, like, does that word really mean what it's supposed to mean nowadays? Like, what do you guys think about that?
I
See,
mean,
I
somebody
mean,
like
it's
that's the
hard
thing.
R dependent.
yeah, like, and that's the thing. Like, the word has changed so much since the inception of it. Same thing with the F word. It's changed. Like the that word didn't mean what it meant. Back in the 50s, maybe back in the 50s, it still probably meant that. But you go back far enough, that word didn't really mean what it means today. But it just changed through the course of history because people applied that word to those certain group of people.
But here's the funny thing. Like, it's whenever I've used that word around y'all, and also I have used it in a funny connotation, always as a funny reference. I have never, ever meant it in anything as,
No.
a racial slur. And y'all know it. Y'all know I have a dark sense of humor. Y'all know that, and at least to the many people who are listening to this podcast, know that I have a strange sense of humor. It's a little awkward, but at the same time, it's really dark and sometimes edgy. And yes, it also borders on rude and offensive. But having said that, I have never come from a point of hate towards someone. So when somebody tells me that, oh, how do you have the audacity to make a racial slur? To them I say, this is not me making a racial slur. This is me talking with three of my other friends, and we're just shooting the shit. And might I also add, the three of these friends are also of or African American origins. So if they are okay with it, why can't you be on board with it? It's just my point.
Okay.
And it just feels like, I also understand that, okay, it's not fair that I should be saying that word, and I apologize if anybody's offended for it. I apologize
It's
straight up.
okay. You got the N word pass, bro.
Infinite N-word pass.
You only get 3 per episode. It's only 3 so.
But they stack up if you haven't used them recently.
No.
So you have like 3. So go ahead, just use them up. The corona's gonna knock us out. Might as well just use it now.
No, it's all right. The thing
Brad,
is, I don't.
did you have?
Yeah, but you wanted to say something, Brad?
Oh yeah, no, I was just gonna say, for some people, that's where like they've grown up in an environment where, hey, saying that word, it, if anybody saying that word that isn't of that group or associated with that group shouldn't be saying that word, you know. And that word, same with any other cuss word, shouldn't be said out in the open unless you know everybody else is cool with it. Like when you go to a bar, you don't really expect to hear the N word unless you go to like a majority, you know, African American place. You know, you might hear it here or there. But if you're going like to like downtown where we're at, or to Midtown, you know, you may hear like, you know, your shits, your F word, your FUCKs, or your ass, or your damn, or your bitch. But you're not gonna hear nothing like this right here, or this F word right here. Just, you know, you're not gonna hear all that. You know, you're gonna hear somebody just.
Brad, you can say it. You are African American. You can say the N word. If I say
Oh,
it,
I know.
I'm going to get crucified for it.
No, but it's actually
Brad doesn't like saying it. Wakanda forever, bro.
no, but this actually brought up. So I'm not sure you guys remember this Dave Chappelle special, but there was this Dave Chappelle special that came on, and he talked about how he wanted to use the F word in a skit, but one of his producers said, "Well, Dave, you're not, you know, you're not gay, so you can't use that F word." And he said, "Well, I'm not a N word, so can I still use the N word?" You know, it's a pretty good like discussion he had right there, where
Yeah.
he said, "Listen, you know, I like in a totally free world, you should be able to use any type of word you want to, but there are consequences to it. Like if I say the F word, people are gonna assume that, you know, I'm homophobic, I don't like gay people, you know, but I'm not trying to use that word to demean them at all. I pass on somebody else. I feel like I'm talking for a lot.
Yeah, I mean, I think double standards in just the general sense, like it all only really depends on who you're talking to. And I think it kind of just goes back to like political correctness. Like it's like, sure, black people can say the N word all they want, you know, and their friends who they allow to with the N word pass, which we make jokes about all the time, you know, like that's fine. But you know, a word is just a word in the end, and it's people's perceptions of it that I think skew things. Like you shouldn't be trying to find a double standard of things, but it also shouldn't be this like anger outrage. Like we talked about height difference, like that one. You know, I totally see why a woman could get offended when we say, "Sorry, we don't want fat chicks," but at the same time, you know, like a guy could equally be offended by saying, "Look, you're not 6 foot. Goodbye." You know, so like, there's no real winning the situation. I would just say, like, you have to just acknowledge that these things exist, and it only holds as much power as you give it.
Yeah, that is true.
That's really accurate.
Like,
Pretty much.
like the where a double standard you should may let go of double standard if it's starting to like really affect you and really affect your decision making. You know, like I'm not sure about you, Mo, but I know for certain cultures they don't like it if you start, you know, dating too far outside the race. You know, and
Yeah.
That's actually, funnily enough, that is something
yeah.
which, one of my relatives, actually, now that you bring it up, that is so strange. She actually, someone really close to me said, she's like, "Oh, don't date BMWs." I'm like, "Do you not want me to date the car?" And she said, and I cannot make this up. I cannot make this up. She said, "Do not date blacks, Muslims, or white chicks." And I'm like,
Wow.
yeah, she said that. She said that. And I was like,
New
so
term of the day. I'm just gonna call them BMWs for now.
BMWs. So I'm like, and like, I was so confused before she explained
Got
it,
that
because I was
horsepower.
like, no, and she literally said BMW. I was like, "So do you not want me to date the car, or somebody who owns the car, or is like, do you have an issue with the carbon emissions given out by the car, or like?" Because she's an environmentalist. I'm like, I understand, but she's like, "No, don't date blacks, Muslims, and whites." And I'm like, and funnily enough, I don't know whether she listens to this podcast. She's in for a shock. Guess what? And I've pretty much done that. So I mean, sure. I mean,
You like to change your oil regularly in your BMW. You know what I mean?
He likes to get his drainage fluid released.
Yeah, you know.
what all I mean, we can go on for we can go on.
He goes for a weekly inspection because there's always something wrong with the car.
Yeah, you need to give a nice good shake to loosen everything up.
Honestly,
how
I'll
it
be
is.
honest with you.
You gotta
were
tighten
saying
some of the bolts.
BMW, I was thinking of I was trying to word out the acronym. I was thinking big musty women. I was thinking all these crazy. I'm sorry. I'm sorry to offend anyone. That was what was going through.
I've heard similar things said in some Hispanic cultures where they don't like it when their sons and daughters date people who are of darker skin because that's seen as a bad trait to have within the family because darker skin means you're of a lower class than the fairer skin.
Yeah, which is really strange because they go around calling white people gringos and gringas, so it's very strange.
Well,
correct me if I'm wrong, Benny, but this is literally I was literally at this.
You just call anybody gringo when you see white kid gringo. It doesn't really mean anything other than that.
No, but here's the thing. Funnily enough, I was at this Brazilian.
I was called gringo by my Hispanic friend before because I was trying to speak Spanish and I couldn't speak it properly.
Yeah, I mean that's just what it is.
Isn't the connotation?
But this thing, Spanish people give no fucks. We literally call Asian people Chino, which means Chinese.
Exactly.
We literally give no fucks. As racist as it is, it's one of those cultures where the more liberalization or the softening of words has just not happened. The F word there, maricon, people use that freely.
Yeah.
They use it so freely, and it's that's never gonna change. That's one of those things. It's so weird. As much as people try to be woke, if they really understood Spanish, they'd find out how racist the language and how fucked up the language actually is.
And that's the same with India also. Of course, India, it's just a lot of people who are South Indians are quite dark skinned. Not necessarily, but they are very dark skinned. Literally, I think the world's darkest shade of black would be you put the world's darkest shade of black and you put a South Indian in front of it, you're the South Indian will be darker. Not me trying to make fun, it's genuinely the case. So people literally are just so straight up rude, and they'll say, "Hey, blackie," and I'm like, "Yo, what the fuck, man?" I literally there was this dude in my school. His name was Akshay Balachandran, literally the first 3 letters of the alphabet, and he was so dark. I remember this one guy in my class. He literally told him, "Bro, you're so black. If you'd be any more blacker, I'd use your skin to extract boot polish for my shoes."
Oh my god!
And I was like, "What the fuck?" And here's the fucked up part. He said it in the middle of this lecture of another South Indian professor, who for the ogive curve, the S curve or the ogive curve or whatever curve, she called it vojive. She called it vojive, vagina, and he's and then he would look at, and he literally looked at Akshay and he just said, "Bro, you're so black, and then he said that whatever he said, and everybody just lost their shit. We were just like, what the fuck, man? And in the middle of class, dude, and all of us lost our shit. We're like, this dude, I was like,
yo, you're so black.
You're so black. If you were any more blacker, I'd literally use your skin to extract boot polish for my shoes.
Jesus Christ.
What the fuck, man?
Damn, man.
Indian people are creative.
They are.
Very, very, very creative. And then another. I think I remember.
I've gotten burnt toast, but that's it.
No, no. He said there was another one. He dropped 2 bombs that same day. He said if you were any black, I would assume that in your last birth you were a World War II pilot who just got burnt in the airplane. I was like, what?
He wild out here.
Yeah,
I've gotten nighttime black. I've gotten burnt toast black. I haven't gotten
Yeah,
all
but
that fancy.
you know, like burnt toast, like okay, we get it, but
Yeah.
like, you know, shoe polish, really?
Yeah, like
Shoe
that's
polish in
great.
World War Two, and but then like he went one step further. He's like, yeah, and it's like your plane didn't even take off. They just shot you on the ground and you just burned to death. And I was like, the fuck. I was shocked. Like
He
I was like literally there
he
was like
wilding out here.
he just literally just went. He went for his existence.
Yeah. But with that said, let's talk about how to pass time in quarantine without fapping. You know.
Yes.
Without
Without
fapping,
using
So I mean,
your hands as beaters.
you know, Pamela needs to be retired this weekend because many of you have been enjoying it for far too long during quarantine. You know, some of you
Hands, I can
have
see
that.
'em.
guys, check it out. Check it out.
Yeah, so some of you have that Pornhub Premium VPN going on right now.
Only fans.
You know who you are. But you know, with that said, like, what are some good things people can do? For me, I've been focusing on hobbies. I missed the gym though, which is like the weirdest thing. Like, I didn't expect my gym to close down, but it's closed for 15 days, so that sucks. But I'll probably just run around the neighborhood and do something. But for me, I'll probably just write some more music. And my lifestyle, like the memes have said, you realize it's been quarantined anyways. Because like I'll go out, but it's not anything that's too crazy. But the fact that like now you can't, you're like, yo, what the fuck do I do?
Exactly.
I mean, here's what I've been doing. I've been pretty much since work is pretty much on. I have no other choice but to go to work and earn my keep. So that's one thing I've been doing, like working, and I've been working out. Like I've been, push-ups, crunches. I've been working on like strengthening my core, flexibility. I can do a wall sit for like 1 minute continuously. Like within a week, I can
That's
already
pretty
do it
good.
like 1 minute continuously. I want to push that further. I want to do 2 minutes. I want to do more core exercises, more leg strengthening exercises. But here's the thing, like I've been just working on just developing my strength. I want to give my body more shape. Definitely working on those abs, lower abs, love some of the love handles which I have, which like just like stubborn fat which is not going away.
Yeah.
Like even though like I'm really thin, like I'm not like emaciated thin, but I'm definitely thin. So one thing I want to give is now I want to give my body more shape. So that's something I've been working on. I've been definitely watching a lot of Netflix shows. Been catching up on some great music also. I'm I'm a musically inclined person. I can't say that I play any instrument, so I won't say that I'm really inclined, but I love music. Love listening to music. So been watching a lot of music, been listening to a lot of music, uh, been watching a lot of TV shows, so that's something I've been doing. And yeah, eating some of that Philly cheesesteaks. Why do I keep saying chili feast steaks?
I don't know, man. I don't know.
It's that Apu accent coming in.
Oh no. Don't get people started, man.
Hello, hello, sir. Hello, sir. Would you like hello, sir? Would you like a Slurpee?
Yeah, you know. Also, I
Yeah,
listened
just
to that new Weekend album. It was alright.
see, but I don't know. I mean, there were certain there are just the three tracks which were released earlier, like Heartless, Blinding Lights, and After Hours. Those were really good. Like those were really like
Yeah,
old school.
I mean, After
Like,
Hours was
Weeknd.
pretty good, but the album itself, like, it just felt so samey.
That is like that's one thing which is like it seems like a mix between a trilogy and Starboy.
Yeah,
Like
I like
it is giving me a
Starboy
lot of
better.
I loved Starboy, dude. Like I still listen to Starboy now. Like even though it like released in 2016, I'm still listening to it. I'm like every day I'm just like because I'm a motherfucking Starboy every day. Like I'm like yes,
Yeah.
that's like my jam. So yeah, but that's pretty much what I've been doing since you can't really fucking step
Yes,
out of the house. But yeah, anybody else?
that's true. I
For
was
me, I've been
gonna
standing outside the house all the time.
Yeah.
No,
It was nice
for
knowing you,
me,
Brad.
yeah,
It was
yeah,
nice
I
knowing
know,
you.
I know. I'm a very sociable guy. If you ask me, I don't like being cooped up for one place for too long.
Fair enough.
I feel very lonely. So for me, again, guys, don't do this. I'm 23, so I just been like drinking, trying new alcohols, drinking wine,
What?
drinking beer, just whatever is available. Again, please don't do that. I may have a problem.
You may? What do you mean
Interesting.
I
you
may.
may?
Some of
You
us
may?
are going to turn out alcoholics after this, and
Yeah, I
others
mean,
are going to turn out amazing cooks.
hey man,
Cooks. Yeah.
I know how to cook. I know how to cook. It's just the fact that I know I'm just bored. I've been watching shows on Netflix. I've been working out a lot. I'm doing a lot more cardio, which I really
Mm-hmm.
like because I'm toning myself down.
Mm-hmm.
I was huge into weightlifting. I'm very huge into weightlifting, but cardio's really been my thing, just to calm myself down, like to really run and just get outside. Get either late at night when it's nice and cool, or in the middle of the day when it's nice and hot. Just go for a nice little like 2 or 3 mile jog around campus, or run around the stadium, wherever the case may be. Just stay active is my whole thing. If you're over 21, don't just sit home and drink, unless you do it with friends. But just find ways to keep yourself busy, involve drinking or playing with yourself.
Guys, just
Either
like a
that or
social,
invest in a jewel and get cancer.
just just a social message, guys. Do not, and I'm saying this from personal experience. Do not try to, don't try to drown out your sorrows or your woes or your miseries by either, by self-medicating. That is either smoking up or drinking. Trust me, it's not going to do well for your body. It's going to show, and it's going to catch up with you. So if you
It
guys
is.
want to stay fit, I'm not saying that you have turned into collegiate athletes, but definitely stay in shape, guys. Stay in shape. Trust me, you need your immunity levels at a peak if you want to like beat corona or any other pandemics that will be oncoming or going en route in the coming years. So like, please just be mindful of that. That's all I'm just saying.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I've just been playing Xbox. I've just been sitting at home playing Xbox. I get home from work. I'm like, oh, I'm gonna study. I study for like 30 minutes. My Xbox sitting right in front of me, and I just crack a couple games of PUBG and I'm getting on it a little
You're
bit. It
literally
hasn't been a
scum
good
of the
influence.
earth, dude. You're scum of the earth. You've been playing PUBG, and
Well,
like I
yeah,
get
PUBG
it, like
is fun.
dude, it's addictive. I get it, but like there's more
It's a
to
little
it.
bit out there. It looks like RuneScape. Like the graphics look like RuneScape a little bit.
Yeah.
But here's the thing: there's
Dude,
RuneScape
more to
play
is
that
it.
new
boring,
Call of
though.
Duty.
Warzone.
Yeah, Warzone.
Yeah, it's actually much better.
Oh, I
It's
heard
much
it's
better.
free, right? Or it's
It
good or
is
something like
free.
that. I don't know.
It's, if I'm not mistaken, it's free for the PC and PS, but then there's like an issue with Xbox apparently. Like it's like Xbox wants you to buy the game.
It is. I hear it is
Yeah.
free. I'm not sure if it's free like that.
But I
Yeah.
mean, it downloads the whole game. It's like 100 gigabytes. So I said nope to that.
I mean,
Like,
I
I'm
always
like-
own the whole game though, so it doesn't matter to me. I'll get it no matter what.
Yeah, I
Oh,
mean,
but
I was gonna
I know
play it
s-
yesterday, and it was just too huge of a file.
Oh yeah, it's freaking huge.
Yeah, so like I know it's not a video games podcast, of course, but I downloaded Kingdom Hearts 3. Have you
Yeah.
guys like looked into it? Because I've played the
I've heard about it.
first two
Those
for
games I hear
PlayStation
are
2.
just
Yeah, I haven't really started it that much.
Yeah,
I like it, but I'm more of a Final Fantasy person, which is where the other characters from the old Kingdom Hearts came from. So I like
Sure,
it, but
yeah.
it's one of those games where I'm like, I'm in no rush to play.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Got
yeah,
it.
that's something which I need to like catch up on, because like I don't have my Xbox here, so I'm waiting for my next salary. So once everything else settles down, which hopefully is soon, I'll probably go to one of those malls over here and just get my Xbox and get back on the horse of playing video games, because
Just
know.
the PlayStation, bro.
that's like I've been toying with the idea of getting a PS, but like if see, here's the thing, like I'm such a like I'm so extra. If I'm gonna get something, I want the most recent thing. I don't want anything, like I don't want that fake ass PS4 bullshit. Like if I want something, it's gonna be the
Oh.
PS5. I'm like,
Yeah, no, you
set
should
some
wait
goal.
for that because it's gonna come out within the next year.
yeah.
That's what they say, but they always extend the date. Is it like an official date?
It should be a holiday, I think, of this year.
Yeah, it should come in the holiday season.
Yeah, but here's the thing, guys. The holiday season in Kuwait is basically just Ramzan, and that's like in August. So, like that's the thing. Like we don't really have a holiday season over here like Black Friday or stuff. So that's like a big problem. So, but stuff anyways is cheap over here. Like the stuff that you guys get for like 200, $300 over here comes up to like just stacks up to like one third that price.
Oh, that's nice.
Really?
Yeah, 100 KD.
That's cool.
Like 100, anywhere between 100 to 150 KD is like, it's because of the exchange rate. So it's like one KD is like $3, $3.3 or some stuff like that. So 100 KD is $300, $330 roughly.
Huh. That's good.
I'm like balling.
That's nice. But another thing.
What do you guys? What's up?
Yeah. Go on, Brad.
Oh no, I was gonna go on to the next one.
Yeah,
quarantining and dating apps. All right.
Yeah, man.
Brad, you can start.
Yeah.
You got it.
Yeah. So I recently just got a Tinder. So far, nothing really exciting has been happening so far. Really, I think I saw one person I know, like I met in real life on Tinder. So that was pretty funny.
You should have super liked.
Yeah.
You should have super
I mean,
liked.
that's
I
the
know, I
thing with
should've.
Tinder. I liked it more just to see who was on it than actually use it.
Like I'm using it, and like I've matched with 2 people already, and nothing's really happened from that. So I'm just like, yeah, if something happens, it happens. If not, who cares?
Actually, funnily enough, now that you mention it, I was on Tinder a couple of days back, and since I have Tinder Gold, I can swipe anywhere in the world. So I've kept the location in Gainesville, and I was swiping, and there was this one friend of ours. I don't call her a friend. I'm just like acquaintance, but Ivy knows her, and I took a screenshot of it and I sent it to Ivy. I'm like, yo, what is this girl doing in Gainesville? And because she essentially goes to FSU, so like I think the reason we met her was through a mutual friend of ours, and his girlfriend goes to FSU too, so that's how.
Watch out, Leon County.
Hardcore Leon County pounding.
Ivy, man.
It's rough up there, man.
All I'm just gonna say is watch out. That's all we're gonna say. Watch out.
It's a rough area.
It's a rough area. It's really rough and raw. So like I just took a screenshot and I was like, hey, so and like I apparently this girl has a boyfriend, or I don't know whether they're really dating or whatever, whether they're really serious, but I mean, any person who's still active on Tinder and still swipes and claims to have a boyfriend, I mean, come on, guys.
That's a little suspicious.
It's really suspect. Exactly, it's really suspect. But hey, I just swiped right anyways. I'm like, hey, what happens, because I think we kind of shared a vibe a while back, and it's always fun to like get things going. Keep future prospects for when I'm back in back states.
Who knows? Maybe the guy might be into cooking.
Hey, you never know, man. You never know.
Yeah,
You know what's crazy though? Even with, I mean, we're kind of changing up the subject, but even with like the beta male, alpha male, whatever, I feel like more people are becoming beta males. Don't you think?
That is
no. I think just too many people are scared to be alpha.
Well, yeah, because alpha kind of implies that,
Hey, did you guys cut out?
No.
Yeah, I cut out.
Oh no, because there was like.
Yeah, everybody cut out. Then we'll start over when everybody comes back.
Yeah.
All right, hey. Ask the question.
Okay.
All right, everybody's back. Great. So that's the thing. Like, so that's like something which I have. So can we start back now?
Yeah, we can start back.
Yeah.
Okay. So another thing which I've noticed quite often is like, guys are just scared to be alpha because people just perceive being alpha as being rude. It's not being rude, but it is speaking your mind when you dislike something.
Yeah.
And how you say it is how you say it can be either perceived as rude or just like politically correct. That's where political correctness comes into play. But for like for me, I've been a beta before, and I don't like that look on me anymore. So I'm not afraid to speak my mind anymore. So if there is like, and I know what I like, I know what I dislike, and I speak it. I speak my truth.
Yeah.
So is that something wrong? Does that make me less of a human being? Does that make me a pretentious person? No. It just makes me very
You.
clear about. It just makes me me. It makes me very self-aware. That okay, this is what I like. These are my frailties. I know what my frailties are. I know what my insecurities are. But I'm willing to work with them, address them, and move forward.
Yeah, that's one of the things I feel like with sometimes people nowadays. It's kind of calling back to our last episode with being politically correct. You know, again, I feel like it's cool now. It's cool, and it's kind of going to that realm of everybody kind of have to being kind of politically correct, minding what you say. But it's okay just to say, hey, look, this is how I feel about a certain situation, and whether you feel for or against it. It shouldn't matter. It's your opinion. Now, don't be now. I think one of the biggest things that I think is really good as a really good person should do is be open to new interpretations of certain things. And I think that's really being alpha is being yourself and all the time and speaking your own opinion, but also being open to like, hey, maybe be open to accepting like maybe my opinion is not always the right opinion. Maybe I need to adapt and get better. That's one of the things. Like people, I guess, misconstrue alpha with being that hard-headed asshole that says it's my way or the highway. No, an alpha person is somebody who's going to be themselves and open to new interpretations of what and trying to better themselves. If somebody points out to me, "Hey, Brad, you are clearly wrong in this, and this," it's my job to say, "Okay, let me think back and understand why was I wrong and if I was wrong and try to improve myself." That's the biggest thing.
That pretty much
I
is
mean,
it.
Definitely.
yeah, but I mean, back to the Tinder thing. I guess if we're gonna do a short Tinder topic, my entire thing with Tinder is like I don't use it anymore because I'm in a relationship now, obviously. But for me, the funnest part about it was just finding what people that I knew were on there and just seeing if I could match with them and be like, "Yo, you want to do something?" that
That's
was
the funny
like
part.
DDF.
that to me was like, "Oh, we're gonna keep this a secret, or we're just gonna do this," you know. And
Exactly.
so that was always fun. But I mean, I guess to give some tips for people who are just starting out, or for people who are wondering if an app like that might be useful. I would tell you, here's how you start out. The thing is, you never want to just say, "Hey, you want to fuck," unless you have an inclination and that person's a freak. But,
Yeah.
that
Unless they
that
say I'm looking for
said,
a good time.
yeah. But that said, you could totally, all you really have to do is make some sort of pun with their name, or if they have something interesting in their bio. Like a perfect example I'll give is like I remember one time I matched with this girl who was like a pharmacist, and I was like, "Hey, baby, can you count my drug? Because you are it," or some shit like that, and that worked surprisingly. Like you just gotta do stupid shit like that, and somehow it'll work out.
Yeah. Another thing which I would suggest is, guys, get decent pictures of yourself
Yeah.
and get pictures of yourself with like with your friends, like in well lit situations. Don't take a picture of yourself in a club and then put it up on Instagram, or don't do
Don't look
that
like a
at all.
serial killer.
Don't look, yeah, exactly, don't look like a serial killer,
Look
because
like you're
that
having
shit's just
fun.
not cool. Yeah, look, and like like these are like, these are like from articles I've read online, because I'm pretty much on Tinder regularly. Is
Amazon
one of them
Prime.
is like Amazon Prime. Call back, guys, call back. So I'm always on
Jesus
any
Christ.
dating. I'm just perpetually on dating sites because it's fun, and validation is fun. So one picture, like, it should always, your profile should essentially just consist of like one headshot of yourself, like just like one headshot, one like picture of you with your friends, so that you show that you're not a loner. another picture doing some entertaining exercise, like you're doing either if you're a gym freak, you're working out, like just don't take a shirtless selfie, guys. Not unless you're like unless you have like a fucking six pack. If you're rocking a
Unless
six
you're
pack
Steve
eight pack
Rogers,
ab,
Captain America, America's
yeah, unless you're
ass.
unless you're rocking an eight
Yeah,
pack,
no shirtless
don't
pic,
do it.
guys.
No shirtless pics, guys. No shirtless pics.
Oh,
Unless you're rocking an eight pack, then fair enough. Um, and one, like if you're in the gym, like you do martial arts, or you play football or whatever, you play soccer, football, whatever. One exercise doing that. One with pets. Apparently it's statistically proven women are going to swipe right if you have a picture of yourself with something remotely cute, aka dog, kid,
cats.
cat, babies.
Yeah.
That works because
I hear corgis and pugs are quite popular.
exactly. So with I mean I have one with an alligator. Yes, so I mean it's not pretty, but it's cute, and I'm worried about
I
I'm worried
mean,
about the
that
alligator.
one, that's a little freaky. I mean, I know you're a gator, but, just like, hey, baby, come see my alligator.
No, but it's not
That's
my
not,
alligator. That's the thing.
I know, yeah.
It's not my alligator. Like I'm like at that point when I was holding that alligator, I was genuinely worried whether that alligator is just going to chomp on one of my fingers. Like she's
Well, I
going to do
mean,
an.
like, I had a picture of, like, my friend's dog in my profile, like, years ago. And, like, literally, I think I got, like, 5 matches just based solely on the dog. So, I mean, like, it doesn't hurt. Like, your chances of getting somebody to talk to you probably goes up by, like, 1,000% if you have a picture of a dog. Just
That is
like
true.
that alone, like, if you don't have a dog, go find a dog.
Or a cat.
And if the cat, I mean, yeah, but, like,
Nah,
cat
not
ladies
cat.
aren't looking for more cat people.
Yeah,
But the girls who love dogs, they're gonna be like, oh my god, it's a puppy. Do you have the puppy? Let's hang out and be with the puppy. So, like,
yeah.
just, you gotta finesse a little bit. You gotta have that one cute picture of a puppy. And your chances to get matched are gonna go up significantly. Like, you could be a serial killer. And as long as you have the puppy, like, you have your chance, Ted Bundy. You have it.
Hey, just like in that Netflix show called You, you gotta have the right,
Yeah.
you got you
Yeah,
got you
like,
got you gotta get in their side of their mind and play them. Gotta let them know they
yeah,
ain't
but
shit without you.
but just like also another social message, guys. Don't stalk women. It's not cool.
Yeah, no.
Like
Yeah.
respect boundaries. Respect boundaries, guys.
Yeah.
Respect boundaries, please.
If
And yeah.
if you text a girl and she doesn't reply in the next like hour or two, then don't text her back, man.
Yeah, don't expect anything in return either.
Yeah.
Guys,
Like,
don't
just because
no
just
double
because
texting,
she
guys.
matched you, but I mean, like, just because she matched you doesn't mean she's interested.
Yeah,
As
no.
shitty as that
Yeah.
sounds, like, there's plenty of people who do it by accident. Like, I remember
Mhm.
when I used to do it, like, I would only play the game of Smash or Pass and be like, okay, she's hot, nah. And then sometimes I'd get too lazy and then I'd hit the wrong person, and then
Yeah.
I'd immediately unmatch after that happened. But, like, it's just one of those things, like, also remember that if you're a guy and speaking from a guy, this girl probably has, like, thousands of options. Like,
Yes.
think
Yeah,
about it
that's
that way.
one
Like,
thing. Yeah.
you are not the only person there, so don't get overly excited because, like, it's there. You're open there for a reason, and the only way you can stand out, like I said, is by making something funny at the beginning or saying something interesting at the beginning.
Yeah.
Don't just say, "Hi, my name is so and so."
Yeah, like don't
That's
like
how you're
avoid
not going to
what's
get a
up.
response.
Yeah, just
Yeah,
Yeah.
like don't say hey what's up, or hey how's it going. All those are played out, but also at the same time, the other end of the spectrum, don't go out with a hey nice legs. What time do they open? Like that.
yeah.
That doesn't work.
Unless you absolutely know that this chick is down or this guy is down, then don't go on for the kill shot right away.
Don't go for the kill shot just yet. It may just rebound and hit you back in the head. So
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
please. And
I mean-
That bullet could ricochet, hit you right in the back in your groin. You never know.
I'll
Yeah,
share
like,
my
just-
favorite intro I do on Tinder when I used to do it. I was like, "Hey, do you remember me?" And they'd be like, "No, sorry, who is this?" I'm like, "It's the man from your dreams." That worked. Like, that worked like
Oh.
90% of the time. You know, you just gotta have something that's funny and clever, and like
Exactly.
most likely they'll talk to you.
Yeah. So just to wrap, just to wrap everything up, you guys.
Honestly, wait,
go
back to
ahead.
dogs. Sorry.
Dude,
to interrupt.
I didn't
Kinda
say
wrong.
anything.
No, I did in the beginning. But back to dogs. I would have a picture of a dog if I were using like one of those apps. Well, I have 2 dogs in the picture. It's a joke. I'm trying to be funny.
Wait, what? I didn't catch that word.
Never mind. That's it.
All right.
Okay.
All right. So I guess just to wrap everything up, because I think we're running a tad bit past our usual time. Just for one thing, guys, be interesting. Don't be plain. Don't be corny. And another thing, don't go for the kill shot. And also,
No cheesy pickup lines, guys. No cheesy pickup lines, please.
Yeah.
And also one thing.
No, the cheesy pickup lines work though. Like it depends on what it is though.
Yeah.
Okay, the jury's still out on that.
No, like I mean, the thing is, like, I've seen your kind of content mode when you do it, and I don't agree with your content. But at the same time, like for me, like it always works out that the cheesiest ones will work as long as the girl isn't a thought. Like and that's the thing. Like but I'm serious. Like most of them will laugh at it and keep talking to you and be like, "Oh, that was a good one."
Yeah,
but then again, like I make puns for everything. So for me, there comes a point where it's no longer cheesy anymore. But that's the thing. Like if their name, like what's a good name? Like there's just like but I mean like if they have a name, like say their name is like Neve. Like, I'm like, damn, I need to meet you. Like, I'll do shit like that.
Exactly.
Like, and this is like, it's just like, if you do stuff like that, like, that's fair game.
Like, I had a friend one time, and she didn't get this mode. Her name was Monica, and somebody asked her, so if I give it you, will you be able to give me a Monica Lewinsky tonight? and she did not get that. She didn't get that. So all you guys out there,
was she dumb?
No, she wasn't dumb. She just didn't know who Monica Lewinsky was.
Bruh.
But on that note, as a quick wrap up, please, guys, by the end of May, we want 100 subscribers so we can either watch Dracula 3000 and what's the other movie called, Moog?
Velocipastor. Dude, Velocipastor. It's a pastor who gets reincarnated as a velociraptor and then has to fight ninjas. It's literally that's literally the premise.
And mine has
the you fuck with water approval.
Yeah, it has the do you fuck with water and do you listen to the Minecraft remix or the Minecraft parody?
And that's gonna be our rating system for those 2 movies.
Yeah. It's a friend of ours who said those 2 things, and it's a very iconic phrase in our friendship. So shout out to you fuck with water.
Exactly. But on that note, quick sign off, you guys. Thank you again. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Please subscribe. We need 100 subscribers by end of May. And our Gmail is thoughtgang65 at gmail.com. Thoughtgang65 at gmail.com. Moog, what is our Twitter and Instagram handle?
Our Instagram is thoughts_podcast, if I'm not mistaken. And Ivy, what is our Twitter?
Our Twitter is @thoughtpodcast2.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
With that, we wish you all a good night, and everything will be in the description.
Yes, including the trailers.
All right, this is us, Thoughts Podcast.
Signing
Signing out. Peace.